Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. 'Tis I, the Jabbering Magpie, as always, bringing you more Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall. And I swear to God, I may have mentioned it before, that I recognise this art. It's from a band somewhere, I think. Oh, I really can't remember. If you don't recall, we had just exploded the top of a local corporation tower in a dodgy assassination mission. So, let's level up some troops. Let me see. Ike gained sniper rifle ability, firing a discarded Sabot HDI round that ignores armor completely. Cost 2. Shotgun ammo mod. Sets target on fire, strips 1 armor. Ongoing damage. Ooh. I do much prefer Iger as a sniper, and firing a Sabot round at people just sounds fucking fun. Alright, nobody else to upgrade. Okay, sweet, sweet. Wait, why are you still flashing at me? Oh, everyone needs to. Diatribe's basic nerve bolt spell now flushes enemies from cover when they are hit. Yes, to a Dragon Slayer, imbue him with an 8+1 armor. His nerve bolt kinda sucks, so an upgrade of it would be good. Glory, you are to yeah, fuck it. You are to continue being my slicey dicey specialist. And Blitz. Yeah, let's just concentrate you on decking. Okay, confirm all. And we are done. Right, now we are going to go back to Cafe Sevtsi to meet Luca de Ware, whose accent I can't remember. For the second part of this grueling examination. I think I made him French.
Max, welcome back, and my congratulations on a job well done.
Let's just play this nice and professional. They seem to like that. Thank you. Do you have my pay?
I've got it right here.
He reaches into his pocket and produces a slim plastic rod, a crud stick.
And the change of plans on the run didn't bother you?
Please be honest. I'd prefer it if you didn't lie to me in future, but otherwise no. I've done worse on runs before.
That is fair, but if we are to continue working together, you must accept the fact that you might encounter more changes of plan, like the one you saw on your test run. An unfortunate cost of doing business, but one that you must be willing to bear. You see, the true purpose of this test is to gauge your adaptability. We need to know that you will be willing to do what we tell you to, regardless of your personal feelings on the matter. And we need to know that you will roll with the punches if circumstances change mid-run. If you work for my organization, you may be asked to do things that you find morally troubling. Sometimes it may appear that we are lying to you, but you can take comfort in knowing that everything that we request of you is ultimately for the greater good.
And what is this greater good? Please define it for me.
You can't see the big picture? I can't either. I am again just a mouthpiece. The only ones who know my organization's ultimate ends are its ruling council, and they aren't in the practice of sharing information with hirelings. But know that there are some of the most intelligent men on the planet, and they place a high priority on social order and stability, and those are good things by anyone's standards. So, he stares you in the eye. What do you think of all that, then?
Every client I've worked for has kept secrets. I don't see how this is any different. After a brief pause, he nods and reaches forward and places a cred stick in your hand.
Congratulations, you have passed your audition. Welcome to the payroll. So, what happens now? Now we part ways. Don't worry, I'll call you when your services are needed. He taps a neatly trimmed fingernail against the earpiece of his comlink. When I contact you with a new task, the choice of whether to take it or leave it will be yours. If you take it, return here and I'll pay you a fair sum for your services. If you leave it, well, there are some in my organization who will be quite unhappy. Good to know. I suppose I'll be waiting to hear from you then. Very good. I'll be in touch. Yeah, well, let's see what Altuk says. Welcome back on the Defendim. How may I serve you? Altuk, I sent a man Quarren to talk to you. I told him he could have access to your data taps. Burgatsi raises an eyebrow. You did you? A bit presumptuous of you, is it not? Quarren and his gang have been hijacking shipments bound for Croyd's Bazaar, so we made an arrangement. He listens to your taps, they leave our goods alone and steal from our enemies instead. Everybody wins. I see. Well, that sounds like a tidy little arrangement you made, Van Effendim. The kind of arrangement I might make myself. He laughs. The kind of arrangement Monica might have made. I will honour your promise then. Quarren and his gang shall have access to my data taps, save for those that listen in on the Kreutz Bazaar itself. Not that such a tap exists, mind you. No, of course not. Now then, is there anything else Burgatsi can get for you? Just killing time. I'll be gone now. Okay, that's the data tap sorted. What's next on my list of things to do? Optional, meet with Dr. Esquivel. Why did I need to meet with Dr. Esquivel again? How's Cammy doing? Little busy. Well, let's see if we can donate any money to Samuel Beckenbauer. We currently have 5,605 on the old... oh god, and we have like 16 karma. I need to... upgrade slightly. More charisma's always good, as is my drones, of course. Mr. Tumnus getting a lovely upgrade. Can equip Class A drones. Okay, that's Class A drones and stuff all done up. Okay, good in the hood. The hood is good. I need to probably buy a new pistol or something at some point, as my current one is a bit shitty. See how Gunari Metzenbach has on offer. Let's do business. Oh, it's so pretty, Veruga Super Warhawk Smart Link. And I can use, like, fuck all. Just have a little vape whilst I decide. Snipers are always cool. Like, I love playing snipers, as you've seen if you've watched my Fallout New Vegas playthrough, where I like to snipe my night away. Alas, no, nothing from old Gunari. Really need to upgrade my things so I can get a discount off Zac Flash. Though, Jesus. If I buy Flash off him, I do get an achievement. So... there we go. We'll just send the drugs back to... Yay, I got an achievement! I am a whore for those little shiny icons.
Ooh, wrong button. Dr. Xavier Escabel.
Welcome back. What can I do for you, my friend?
Oh no, wait, that wasn't his voice. Welcome back. What can I do for you, my friend? Encephalon next. Purchase order. I had a piece of headwear shipped here. Could you install it for me? Escabel takes the purchase order from your hand and scans it over. Oh yes, this arrived just this morning. I can certainly install it for you, but it won't be cheap. Tell me what the damage is going to be. There's me pheromones I've got installed. Oh. Bollocks, it goes in the head, so I'd need to reinstall the induction jack into my arm. And then reinstall the data jack. Fuck. Okay, we'll figure that out. And I was on 5,000 before, but I just spent it all buying drugs which I will never want nor use for a shiny little square on my Steam profile. God, I'm a fucking idiot. Never mind. Yo, Beckenbauer, tell me about your organisation. Accepting donations. Are you accepting donations? No, let's go. No, bye-bye, I was passing by. Tatty bye to the safe house. Alright, Blitzy.
Hiya, Chief. What's up?
Have you heard of an organisation called the Lodge?
Think I've heard about something about a capital L Lodge. Yeah. There's some chatter on a BBS where I used to hang out a few years ago.
His brow furrows in concentration.
It's a magic thing, I think. Some sort of bogeyman for conspiracy theorists.
You know anything else?
Not really, no. Conspiracy theories aren't really my thing. I prefer to keep my eyes on what's ahead of me. Besides, most of that stuff is bull anyway. On the whole, people are too disorganised and selfish to make global conspiracies work. Anyway, that's all I know.
He shrugs.
I don't think it's anything to worry about. Besides, with the whole dragon thing, we've already got enough on our plates.
Talk to you later, Blitz. Oh, who's a good doggy? Hey, I'm still... What do you have? Anything new? Mags, welcome back. I have news for you. In your absence, I have been looking into the Harfield Manor. Whatever Foyish Finger is up to, it is both large-scale and well-funded. I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to offshore funds with a dummy address. From there, all of our freshly laundered money flows directly into the Harfield estate. How much money are we talking about here? I can't name an exact figure, but we're talking about a lot of money. In the millions of new yen, most certainly. Whatever the Voyaving is planning, she has access to all the resources she'll need to carry it out. But Feuerschwinger was different. She didn't scheme or plot, she acted. Yes, then look at where it got her. When the Feuerwing launched her attack on humanity, it was an attack of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It will be equally hubristic for us to assume that she will make the same mistake twice. I will continue digging into this while you and the team tackle your next run. With luck I will have more information to share upon your return. Sounds good, Paul. One last thing, Mags. Mallet was able to restore the readable surface of one of Green Vintage's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you'll find them sitting beside the player. Just one of them? She's still working on the others. Many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything off them is proving to be quite a chore. She has told me that she'll be in touch if she makes any headway. Thanks, Paul. Okay, let's watch a DVD. Load the second DVD. Play track 1. Screen goes blank for a moment, then Green Winters appears on the screen.
Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Feuerschwinger, so I thought I'd open things up a bit. Let's see what the rumour mill has to say. The screen jumps. Winters reappears in a different location. He is now clutching a mug of soy calf in both hands. There are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening, assuming that any of it was true, that is. So for the past 5 hours I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories relating to dragons and the SOX. As a reminder, the SOX is an irradiated wasteland between France and Germany. It got zoned off back in the 08 after the Cattenom-Gau reactor meltdown. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumours floating around about the place. I heard stories about a walled city in there that operates on the survival and fittest kill or be killed basis. Sort of a nightmare inversion of Berlin. All of the anarchy but none of the stability the F-state provides. The radiation, poisoning, cancer and mana pollution are just the icing on the cake. So when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot Feuerschwinger down, she crashed into the SOX, that much is well known. What isn't a well known, or all the modern day myths have arisen around us since, and today I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claims to be a ghost rat. That's a smuggler that operates in the SOX. She told me about a dragon cult called the Disciples of Cleansing Fire. Apparently these cultists worship some kind of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be Feuerschwinger or it could be nothing, but it's worth digging into all the same. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular rumour in the SOX is that Feuerschwinger's astral form was, I guess you say, mutated by all that background radiation. Some of the glow punks out there say she shed her body like an old coat. Others say she's trapped, doomed to languish an intangible radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence I give to any of this. After all, I don't have any proof that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be. But then, she could be a run-of-the-mill glow punk. Or maybe she's just yanking my chain, and she's never been to the SOX at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought, though. Anyway, I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon, but it's interesting all the same. Now the question is, will any of this get me any closer to finding Adrian? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no, but you can never tell. Oh god, doing that voice hurts my fucking throat. I'm just gonna use my regular voice. Timestamp. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the SOX to rescue Feuerwing, but he was driven off, some say killed, by Lothier and Nebelhair. So what if there's another dragon involved in all this? Winters grabs a thick leather-bound tome from a shelf behind him, licks a finger and begins to leaf through it. Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First there's the Golden Worm, Lothier, CEO of Seda Krupp, quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Lothier's a local boy, so he'd be in position to help Feuerschwinger. He certainly has the financial capability to help her, and he could send a small army into the SOX if he wanted to. So he's definitely got the means, but I can't see how he'd have the motive. He actively prevented Feuerschwinger's rescue back in 2012. After all, same thing is true for Nebelhair. So let's scratch both of them off the list. He flips the page, frowning. We've got Aiden, the great Sirush. He's operating out of Turkey. By all accounts, he's not a fan of Lothier. We're actively competing for territory in the Middle East. So I suppose that could be considered motive. Reviving Firewing might cause problems for the Golden Worm. But would he risk a war with Seda Krupp by straying into Lothier's territory? Again, I don't think it's likely. He turns another page. There's Seldir out of Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Neuronet, but he's got the money. But he's too busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that Transys is going through out in London to get his claws dirty on in the SOX. Flip. Dunkel Jean out of UCAS. He pauses, shakes his head, then slams the tome shut. No, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am the Feuerwing is acting alone. Dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother making nice with your equals when you've got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together, they have us to exploit. Okay, number 3. While this track does loads, it's clearly corrupted. The screen fills with meaningless streams of text. Let me see if I can make anything out here. off in something ash. I can only make out words old, ash, INF, could be infinity maybe? No, none of this is at all decent. Track 4, partially garbled, you recognise a few words here and there, but they're interspersed amidst a solid block of corrupted text. Vauclair and something. Still my big, I'm assuming that means brother. Still searching for Firewing. Swear to somebody I will find you. If it's the last thing, I'm going to guess if it's the last thing I do. Not getting any closer. Swear to something, new research. Ask. Turning up. Don't know who or where. That could be. File is corrupted. Screen feels a meaningless assortment of ASCII. Yeah, there doesn't appear to be anything decipherable from that. Screen goes black, and the same digital chime that you heard on the Dragonfall DVD plays again. Crackle of static fills the air, followed by that same now familiar electronic whine. A few moments later, the display goes live. Vauclair looks haggard. His eyes are heavily bagged and bloodshot. His hair is mussed. He holds a cigarette in his unsteady hands. Help me, it's me. I can't sleep. I don't know where you are. Out having fun, no doubt. Maybe flirting on one of those unattainable beauties you're always chasing. He lights his cigarette. He tries on a smile, but quickly disappears. He takes a drag on his cigarette. That's good. I want you to live a present, normal life. After all, one of us should. Vauclair rubs his eyes. I can still smell the smoke, Harmy. It's almost a year later and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses. When I sleep I can hear the sirens and the screams. There is no sound in this world as horrible as a burn victim's screams. The doctors call this PTSD, I'm sure. If they have me in therapy, maybe dose me up on SSRIs, like they do in our veteran soldiers. He chuckles and takes another drag. Quite a story for the tabloids. The great dragon slayer Adrian Vauclair, mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. He shakes his head. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a reputation to live up to. However poorly deserved it is, however little I want it. He pauses, stubs out his cigarettes. The dragon is alive, Hermie. Of that I am certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I'll be able to sleep for the night. The display goes black, the background whine fades away. A moment later you find yourself deposited back at the main menu screen. Eject the DVD. Power down the DVD player. Okay, so we have definitive fucking saying from Adrian Vauclair. Firewing is alive.
Mags, what's new?
Have you ever heard of the Lodge?
Lodge?
He freezes up.
Boss, you don't mean the Black Lodge?
I don't know, maybe the Lodge was all I heard.
Let me describe them to you, and you can tell me if what I'm saying fits. Shadowy, powerful, secretive as hell with deep pockets and a penchant for hiding the truth. They conduct all of the business through dupes and go-betweens.
He gives you a sideways glance. That sound about right? That was them in a nutshell, yeah.
Well, if it is them, and whoever you're talking about I ain't saying it is, then I'd advise you to stay away from them. Stay far, far away, and whatever you do, don't take the money. If you do, they'll own you.
Dietrich, I have something to tell you.
If you're about to say what I think you are, don't. I don't want to hear you.
Well, tell me what you've heard about this Black Lodge, then. I need to know.
Well, the story is that the Black Lodge is the mother of all conspiracies. Supposedly, they've been practicing for about hundreds of years. Practicing magic since well before the Awakening. Impossible, I know, but I believe it. Have you ever heard of the Masons, Knights Templars, the Bavarian Illuminati? They were all puppets of the Black Lodge. None of them knew what they were working for, but the Lodge was there pulling the strings. They have always been, and they are still there today. That's the story.
Okay, I see. Thanks for letting me know, Dietrich. It gives me a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Suddenly I could use a drink. Curious, Dietrich, why did you switch from fronting a band to running the Shadows?
Honestly, working the stage was getting boring, boss. Spitting and screaming at the whole world fine and good when I was a kid, but I didn't want to do it for me anymore. The Dragon Slayer wanted me to fight a real enemy, so I left the band behind and I turned to the Shadows.
He shrugs.
I don't know, guess I figured that'd be the best way to find one.
Considering current events, I'd say you're not wrong about that.
Yeah, I guess not. Feels kind of daunting, truth to be told, but it's exciting all the same. I've been looking for the adversary for a while now. It's kind of satisfying having a whale to chase.
How long have you been looking for a real enemy? He shrugs.
Not too long, ever since I took down the last one.
For the last one?
Of course, I might be able to sit around feeling pleased with myself if I followed the creator or the Moon Maiden, but this Dragon Slayer ain't that kind of idol. If I'm not drinking, I'm fighting, and if I'm not doing either of those things, I'm looking for bigger, better fight to get in next time.
Dietrich produces a flask from his jacket pocket and raises a salute.
It's a remarkably simple code to live by.
Who was the last one?
Gang boss, great big orcish bastard called the Winchfine. Led the local chaps of the Horde. I had my sights set on them for a while. They hurt a lot of people and I figured they'd pose a challenge. I wasn't wrong about that, but I took him out in the end.
Dietrich, when does this pattern end?
Well, boss, the way I figure it, it'll end when I pick a fight I can't win.
He smiles sadly.
Might be this one, might be the next. It'll be hard to top a great dragon. But that's the way the Dragon Slayer wants it, and who am I to refuse him?
Abruptly, he turns away.
That's enough talk for today, boss. Besides, you got other things to do, I'm sure.
Thanks, Dietrich. Always fond of Dietrich, he's a lovely man. Let's speak to Iger.
This isn't the best of times. Come back later if you want to talk.
Glory? First time since you met her, Glory's expression seems to brighten. It's subtle, but it's there. You're sure of it. Mags, a pleasure as always. Need anything from me? How are you doing, Glory? Golden as always, Mags. No problem here. Are you ready to tell me about the chrome you're sporting? I'm getting there, Mags, but you have to give me some more time. The answers will come when they do. You said things went bad when you turned 14. I'd like to keep talking about that. She stares at you, her face expressionless. No, I'd rather not. Why not? Because I don't see reason to. The memories are unpleasant, and dredging them up doesn't serve any real purpose. You're wrong about that. The last time we talked, it had an impact on you. That's reason enough to continue. She pauses a moment to consider her words, a troubled look on her face. I suppose that's true. Feeling discomfort is better than feeling nothing at all. Alright, here's the deal, Mags. I'm gonna talk, you listen. When I'm done, I'm done. No complaints, no arguments, and we'll see what happens. Deal? Deal. Right. The 1,000-meter stare creeps back into Glory's eyes. A moment later, she's locked away in her own head again, reliving memories that she'd long since fled away. So a few days after my 14th birthday, I began to express magically. Go on. There is a long pause and Glory becomes more animated. Anyway, I turned 14. I awakened. I don't even remember how my parents found out about it anymore. I think my dad caught me playing with a tiny city spirit that I coaxed out of a pile of garbage, something like that. Everything happened afterwards. Those days were kind of a blur. What I do remember is my father's response to this revelation that his little girl was a witch, a hexer. He beat the living shit out of me with his fists, and then his belt and then a claw hammer. Then he grabbed out his toolbox. And all the while my mother was screaming and flailing at him. She took a couple of licks with the hammer too. It's a miracle you survived. I'm just lucky, I guess. So finally, after what felt like an hour, Dad stopped turning me up with the hammer. I had broken ribs, a busted arm, I couldn't see out of my left eye, and my entire right side was covered with a giant bruise. I was bleeding all over the place, making a real mess of the carpet. The old bastard spat on me, his bleeding, crying daughter. He spat on me and told me I was des Teufels Hure, the devil's whore. Then he kicked me out of the house. As I crawled away, my father told me that if he or his Kreuzritter buddies ever saw me again, they'd treat me as the Berlin chapter treats the enemies of God. If you're not familiar with how Kreuzritters here in Berlin deal with heretics, decidedly less pretty than what my dad and his buddies did to their victims, I got the hint. The next morning I hitched a ride out of Stuttgart. Go on. I wound up in Tübingen. I figured it'd be a safe enough place to find medical attention and maybe to call home. It's not far from Stuttgart, but it has a huge student community that I figured I could blend into. And the university there had a decent magic department. My ride dropped me off at the university hospital and they patched me up pretty good. I had some questions for me about how I got so beaten up, but I lied and told them I'd been mugged, which played nicely into my complete lack of cash, credit and identification. Glory pauses for a minute, looks down at the floor, fixes her eyes on you. She's visibly tense. We're going to fast forward the next few years. I was a kid on the street. I got by best as I could, doing whatever I had to do. The rest we can leave up to your imagination. Good? Good. Good. Glory's clenched jaw relaxes somewhat and the tension drains out of her shoulders. Thanks. So anyway, I lived on the street for a few years. Got used to being hungry all the time. Got used to getting rained on. Got by. I was painfully aware that I had magical talents, but without any training or guidance I didn't really know how to use a development. Truth be told, they scared me so much that I more or less ignored them. So it sort of went like that until a few days after my 17th birthday. Then I met Marta and everything changed. Marta was a sweet girl at first. I took her for a street kid like me. Her clothes were a little ratty and she seemed comfortable being near me. But she also looked well fed and happy. Those were two things I hadn't been in years. We started hanging out, and before I knew it was happening, I was in love. There was a genuine attraction between Marta and me, I think, but I also think that a lot of my affection came from the fact she was the first person in years to give a damn about me. She cared, and I loved her for it. Glory pauses. She looks flustered, her composure cracked. Keep going, Glory. She stares at you for a beat, then nods. A few ragged breaths later, she continues. Marta told me about the place where she'd been hanging out. She invited me to join her there. It was called the Feuerstelle, the fireplace. It was sort of a commune for dispossessed youth. Turns out that a lot of street kids I'd known over the years had moved there. The way they'd disappeared, I'd assumed they'd been kidnapped or killed, or had gone back to their parents, but there they were. I remember being kind of angry about it, like, how did everyone get the memo about this place but me? Ma calmed me down. She was good at helping me work through my feelings, but I wound up following her to Feuerstelle. To a street kid, it was basically paradise. The owner, a guy named Harrow, had set up this little farm just outside Tübingen in the Schönbusch forest. The Schönbusch is officially a nature park, but not many people go there nowadays. Too much fear of paranormal animals, I guess. Anyway, park or not, it was plenty big enough for us to hide in. So safe and pretty, and the farm was well stocked with food. More importantly, Feuerstelle gave us a sense of community and stability that we had never had on the street, and we loved Harrow for that. He became like a surrogate father to us. Glory paused again. You recognise a distinct flush in her cheeks. She seems to have come out of a revelry once again. That's enough for now. I need to process all this, and I don't want to continue forward until I've had a chance to do that. I know this all happened years ago, but I guess it's still pretty raw to me, so I'm going to ask you to give me some space for a while. She turns away and frost begins to creep back into her voice. We can pick it back up later. Okay. I do believe that's a good place to leave it now, folks, as we've got about 35 minutes through, so I'm going to very quickly wish you a very tatty bye.